Dímelo, dímelo, Bo Dominican York. What's going on, mi gente? What is going on? Tú sabes, loco. Let's get into it, son. If you watched the earlier video, that was my scent of the morning, Stronger With You Absolutely. And now, my scent of the day, Algabra's Cuban tobacco. Who's put their nose on this? I know that Cubano definitely is a fan of Cuban tobacco. Highly influenced the decision-making process. You know, this was a decision that took a long time to make. And something that you don't find every day or find everywhere. Not all discounters. Very few, if any. This stuff is god-awful good. Let's take a look at this atomizer. Aggressive. Decent amount of juice and off curtain. Doesn't get much better than that, guys. It does not get much better than that. Put a little bit on mine. You do not need to reach for this. Now, I say that, but it's also not an overpowering scent. I don't have a lot of experience with it yet, so there's definitely many more wearings to go. This is not going to be for everybody. I'd like to say that this is a mass appealing scent, but I don't believe it necessarily is. A saving grace about it is that even though it is powerful, it's not overbearing. According to Max Aroma, it starts off citrusy, then gets boozy, and then gets tobacco-y. Let's see what their notes say they are. So on Max Aroma, I'm looking at top notes of vanilla, mojito, mandarin orange, then middle notes of plum wine, tobacco, jasmine, and smoke, and then base notes of tobacco blossom, woody notes, and salt. Wow, they threw a little bit of salt in there. That's pretty cool. 42% male, 14% female, 42% unisex. Let's go and give you guys, this is what I was looking at. Vanilla, mojito, mandarin orange, plum wine, tobacco, jasmine, smoke, and then tobacco blossom, woody notes, and salt. Honestly, all that breakdown is nice. I do get something citrusy. I do get something kind of bitter and sharp, and I think that might be the mojito. But it's blended well that I don't pick up any one thing distinctly. You know, it all kind of has converged into this beautiful fragrance that just feels familiar. You know, I want to try to find what scent I have that smells like it. And I know I do have something. Or something in my past that I ran across that smelled like this. You know, whether it was a place, a person, a thing, I don't know. But something very comforting about this Cuban tobacco from Algabra. Very comforting. This is a very comforting scent. And we're just getting a first shot at this. I'm just giving you guys a first quick look. You know, first impressions kind of. I've worn it several times, but it's just such a beautiful wearing fragrance. Algabra is well made. You know, they've become one of my favorite houses in my collection. So have you guys sampled? Have you tried Cuban tobacco, Peruvian tobacco? Definitely different from Peruvian tobacco. Where's my Peruvian tobacco? Right here. Now, I had to put my Peruvian tobacco in a different bottle because the atomizer came off the top, or came off the bottle. The atomizer came off the bottle when I took the top off. So it is what it is. Gee, it doesn't smell like Cuban tobacco. Cuban tobacco smells more raw. It smells like you're entering a tobacco rolling factory. This is sweeter. I almost want to say there's honey in here, but there's no honey. Gosh, this is good, guys. All I can say is go watch the Cubano's review and listen to what he has to say about this. I have a very young nose. a year and a half going on 2 years into higher tier fragrances. So this is very new to me. Finding out what this might smell like might take a while. It might take me a while, guys. But Cuban tobacco from from Algabra. I almost wanted to say Mason Crivelli. I don't know why. Doesn't smell like a Mason Crivelli. This is definitely different, you know. Where are they from again? From Turkey. Turkish house. I should have remembered that. But Algabra, really well done. Really well blended. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment down below. I'll get back to you guys soon. Let's get back to on screen. Oh, let's go over and see what. So let's find out on Fragrantica. There it goes right away. Didn't even have to look long. So we're looking at tobacco, white floral, woody, smoky as the main accords. Tobacco, white floral, woody, smoky as the top main accords that they say we're going to pick up on Fragrantica. Then the next grouping looks like sweet, fruity citrus, vanilla to be exact, and then finally ends off with a green and salty touch. Very interesting. When Spanish sailors first explored Cuba in 1942, they returned with accounts of tall forests, chattering birds, and men and women going from place to place with a firebrand of weeds in their hands to take into the fragrant smoke. With a firebrand of weeds in their hands. They must be talking about cigars. Before long, Spanish colonists were growing and smoking tobacco too. As the demand for tobacco spread, the weeds became profitable. Cuba opened its first cigar factories in the early 1800s. Cuban tobacco is an oriental, fruity scent. It embodies the smell of a tobacco aroma at its best. Starts with mandarin orange, vanilla, and mojito. Okay, so they're saying vanilla at the top. Jasmine and plum wine unite with tobacco and woody notes to create an olfactive journey through the history of Cuba. Salt is a note that you can notice throughout the whole experiment. Okay. Funny fact, honey was used with cigars as a natural filter, adding a sweet flavor to the tobacco. So I was picking up some honey. It's funny that they mentioned that, or that I read that, because I was kind of picking up a honey scent. So my nose might be a little better than I thought. You know, if they did include a little honey to bind the cigar casing. Anyway, thank you for hanging out with your Uncle Bo. Que Dios me lo bendiga. What is today? Tuesday? It snowed last night here in North Carolina. Did it snow, or is it snowing where you're at? This is one of those fragrances that I believe is great right now. We're in the 30s. It's like 31 degrees outside. Yeah. Unless it's changed and I haven't. Anyway, it's in the 30s. So that's here in North Carolina in the South. What are you guys doing up top in New York? And what's going on? So I'm using a different system and it's telling me. Anyway, I just had a performance warning. Anyway, talk to you guys soon. Have a blessed Tuesday. Que Dios me lo bendiga.